Alright, folks, welcome to the Skynny Live. Now, I'm doing three things at one time. I'm not a real good multitasker, anybody knows me to tell you that. But what I'm doing is I'm doing the live cast here, live on YouTube, as I'm in the process of doing the actual podcast on Spreaker Radio, which is actually going to be pre-recorded. But we're actually doing that right now. So welcome to the Skynny Live podcast, folks. As I said, we're going live on YouTube. We're going live here, or we're doing a pre-recording here on Spreaker Radio, and we're about to go live via the telephone with a very talented individual, and her name is Miss Brittany Avery. We're going to call her up right now and try to do an interview with her here. So we'll see how this goes. I hope y'all can hear everything pretty good. We'll adjust the sound probably during the course of the podcast here, the interview. Anyway, going to call her up right now, so stick around. Well, I said I was anyway. It's ringing.
Hello?
Howdy. Brittany?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, this is Tim. This is Tim from the Skynny Live. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Alright, we're actually going, I'm live on YouTube right now. And of course there's no video showing you, but I'm actually live on YouTube right now. We're also on Spreaker Radio, and of course you and I are talking through the wonder that is Messenger. So I'm kind of multitasking here, so at any point if you can't hear me or the signal sounds like it's getting a little choppy or something, just let me know.
Alright.
But how are you doing this evening?
I am tired. How about yourself?
I'm actually pretty tired, believe it or not. I've had a great day. Got to do some family stuff. Got to get out and came home, and the wife cooked a great supper. And it's just I'm one of those guys at that age now to where after I eat I just want to go to sleep. But you know, it's been a great day. It's been a great Sunday. Been a very beautiful day. It was very hot here in Kentucky, but I don't know what the weather's like there where you're at, but it was so hot here. But it was still a really pretty day. So, but want to get right into things here now. Explain to these people what you do. Now, are you a singer, songwriter, or musician? What's your main thing if you had to put yourself in a bottle?
I am a singer-songwriter. I play guitar. I play banjo, fiddle, musician. That's me.
So just a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, I haven't had much of an opportunity here to listen to a whole lot of your stuff, but now in songwriting, do you have anything out there that people who are interested can just go and listen to? Are you out like on Spotify or anywhere? Or you got any videos on YouTube or Facebook they can go check out?
Oh, yeah. I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook as well. I don't have Spotify yet, or I don't have my music on that or Amazon. I do everything pretty much off my Facebook page.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's where a lot of people kind of get things rolling. That's where I started rolling with the whole Skynny Live thing, was actually on Facebook. I tried to do a live cast. A friend of mine and I, we had a show that I co-hosted with him for a very brief amount of time, and then he had some situations come up in his life, so he turned it all over to me, and then I just kind of shut it down for a while and decided to come back and do this thing, and now it's spun into a whole podcast and YouTube live thing, and it's just it's crazy. I mean, it's amazing to me that you can do all these things, but I'm a little slow on the whole computer thing and learning my way and kind of feeling my way through here. I haven't even built a website yet, okay? So, but you know, it all started with Facebook. I mean, I got out there and started doing some videos and stuff, and I thought, well, you know, it's kind of cool, kind of like this. I'd like to start interviewing people, and we actually had Rachel Crow, a local artist, on, I think, one time, and that went really well, and we got a lot of views out of that, and I was like, yeah, I could do this, you know. But preference wise, what would you rather do? Would you rather be writing songs or be out on the stage performing?
Ooh, both. That's a really hard one. I love to perform just as much as I love to write.
Right. Well, now, and that's me. I mean, I love to write. I love to see a song go from just words on a page and morph into this music creation thing that I've done, and after everything kind of comes together. And I love watching a song because for me personally, a song will keep developing into something different. You know, I'll have it in my head one way when I write the song down. I'll sit down with somebody and we'll put music to it, and then I'll sit down with another musician. He'll put a little bit of a different style or a different twist on it or change a note or something, and it turns into a whole new song, which I've recently done. But I love writing. I'm so interested in how all that works, but at the same time, there's nothing like being on the stage, especially when the crowd's feeling what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. Or they're listening. They're actually listening.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we did a song that a while back here at one of our hometown venues, and we did a song that I'd written several months back, and it's just, you know, it's kind of a fun song to do, and it's kind of catchy and upbeat, and we were doing it, you know, just as a filler song, and I looked out, and by the time we come around to the chorus for the second time, they were singing the chorus with me, you know, and I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. You know, that came out of my head. But if you knew me personally, you would see why that's kind of a funny and dangerous concept. But anyway, I'm kind of loopy today. Like I said, it's been a really good day, but I'm so tired and trying to get everything rolling, and I definitely needed to get another podcast done today, but now, where do you live at? What do you call?
I live in.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, what do you call home?
I'm originally from Columbus, Georgia, but I live in outside of Auburn, Alabama.
Now, Auburn, how far is that from like Mobile?
I think like 3 hours, maybe.
Okay, because like Mobile, Alabama is roughly 9 hours from here, depending largely on traffic, but generally about 9 hours, I'd say.
Yeah, I live probably. Well, I used to live in Kentucky, and when I was going, I'm about 9 hours from where I used to live in Kentucky, maybe 8. Maybe 7 or 8.
Now wait a minute. Say Kentucky again.
Kentucky.
You changed it a little bit there, but that. Now you said it the way that they used to say it around here. Now it's gotten kind of, the younger crowd is kind of more proper than what it used to be when I was growing up. But it is Kentucky. But anyway, you definitely got the southern accent. That's what I'm laughing about. I've talked to so many different artists, and they'll be like, there's this one gal that I had on the podcast a while back, and her. On Facebook, she has this really cool show that is aimed at getting people back interested in getting outdoors and fishing and things. And she's from Wisconsin. And actually, she's from Metropolis, which is made famous by Superman and that whole deal.
Oh,
but, yeah. And so, but she's from there. And when she came on the show, I wasn't prepared for her accent at all. And I'd looked at her videos, and I hadn't really paid much attention to the accent, but she has almost a southern accent. And I was like, wait a minute, you're from Wisconsin? But, you know, usually it's weird. It's like the rednecks have moved north, and the proper culture is starting to come this way or something. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, I've got the accent I've had all my life, which is southern, and more so than most people, I guess, in ways. And I'll go somewhere and they'll be like, where are you from? You from Alabama or Georgia? No, Kentucky. But it amazes me the different accents that you have in the different places. Now, you've got the southern accent, and rightfully so, being from where you're from. But, like, it's neat when you talk to somebody out in Wisconsin, and they've got a Southern accent more so than most of the people that was born here. Which I don't know why that amazes me, but it does. I find that pretty cool. But anyway, back to you.
I think when I lived in Kentucky, I couldn't understand my ex-boyfriend's dad.
Uh-oh.
He was way more country than I expected. One time he sent me out in the yard, and he was like, "Hey, Brittany, go out there and find a car." And I'm like, "What are you talking? A tire? You want me to go outside and get a tire for you?" And he's like, "No, not a tire. I need a tar." It took me forever to understand because I thought it's a different kind of accent up there. But he was referring to a tart.
Oh. Well, I mean, I've run into some of those, oddly enough. I mean, when it's so southern, I can't understand it. You're getting pretty. That's more back in the mountain type thing. Maybe.
Oh yeah, he was from Eastern Kentucky.
Oh yeah. Well, that's where a lot of my family was originating from. Was out of like Harlan County. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of accent, a lot of deep rooted accent. And there's some of my family from Harlan that I have talked to, and then I've had some friends from Harlan, and took me a long time to figure out what they were saying. I mean, it was like such a laid back accent, but it was so deeply rooted in the old mountain, you know. So yeah, but I mean, but you don't have that problem. I can understand you just fine. Hopefully, you can understand me just fine. I definitely can. Do you ever have any trouble talking to like these automated services? I know we're kind of veering off subject here, but it's. I just want to know if anybody else with a southern accent has that problem.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Constantly repeat myself.
Well, and you know, it don't even help to repeat yourself a lot of times with them things.
No, I'd rather go straight to the operator.
Right. I'll be sitting there trying to talk to this stupid thing, and it will keep saying something totally like even my Google does it, and that really ticks me off. When Google does it, I hate it because I'll say something, you know, it can hear me say Google just fine because it activates it. Boom, there it is. But the very minute I try to say anything, like I'll say Walmart, Somerset, Kentucky, and I'll wind up with Wally somebody from Somerset, Pennsylvania. Like, what? Not even close to what I said. But anyway. Yeah, so you know my pain then. But
oh yeah, 100%.
But back to the songwriting now. Like I said, that's something that I have this huge interest in just because it just amazes me even now, and I've written several songs, but it's amazing to me to hear something that you do that starts in your mind or whatever and develops into this whole other thing, and it's just really, it's neat, and it's a part of you, and it becomes an even bigger part of you once it's out there and everybody else is hearing it for the first time. Now, when you're writing songs, what is your what type of songwriter are you? Because you got like hook writers. You got people you can just throw them an idea and they can write a whole song about it, or you got people that start with music first. I mean, how does it work with you? What's the easiest way for you to write?
Oh man, well it just depends. I guess sometimes I'll think of a line or two and it'll come into my head, and I'll just sit down on my computer and or with a notepad and pen, and I'll just start writing it out, and I'll have my guitar with me, so I'll kind of play it as I go. I'll try to get a feeling for it, try to get a melody, and kind of build it. I guess I play as I write. Mm-hmm. And that's my process. I guess I do both.
Well, I mean, and it's easily done that way for a lot of people. I mean, for me personally, if if somebody comes up with a melody, then I can usually pull a song out of it. And a lot of times if they'll come up with a melody and they'll say, okay, I want to write a song about this, and give me that idea, that topic, I can usually take that melody and just words start coming to me. And it's easier for me to write that way. You know, there are those occasions to a lot of songs I'll sit down and just write the words first, and I can hear it in my head. if that makes any sense. I can,
Yeah.
like, I can hear the music, I can hear the hook, I can hear the whole thing. I've never really been what I would call a hook writer, although there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something I've never been that good at doing. And I'm not one of those guys that you can just throw me an idea and I can write a song about it most times. I mean, sometimes I can pull something out, but it generally takes me a little bit of thinking and stuff. And I've seen people, you just shoot them an idea and they'll write you back in 30 minutes with a song, you know. But I think that's how you wind up with some of this newer stuff. But now, about roughly how many songs have you put together? I'm talking music and all.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you for a second.
Okay. Roughly, music and all, how many songs have you written that's put together music and everything?
Oh, I've never been asked that question. I never even thought about it. I mean, it's got to be at least 500 or 600 songs
Wow.
minimum. I mean, I've been writing since I was, I'd say 10-ish.
Right. That's a...
But with songs and stuff I can remember, but sometimes they might sound alike. But I mean, I have a lot that I've written and lost. But I would say about 500 or 600 that I've put music to and have written.
And folks, just so you know, if I ever make it to the 500 mark, I'll probably stop because I probably wrote the same song 5 times. But I'm not that creative. But that's an amazing accomplishment, actually. I mean, for any songwriter, 500 songs or even 300 songs is an amazing feat. But like you said, some of them may sound the same, but they're very different songs. And that's something that I wanted to touch on from songwriter to songwriter that a lot of people do not understand. I can write songs that are just fun. I can just take from some kind of either fun idea or fun memory I've got from my life at some point. A lot of songs that I write are very, very personal to me. No matter how they come out to everybody else, they're really personal to me. And like, I do covers all the time, and there's certain covers that I'll do that I really want to deliver that emotion and that feeling with. And I remember thinking, when I first started getting on stage and playing music and stuff, I remember thinking, gosh, I don't want this to be something that if the original person that sang it heard, I don't want it to be something that they wouldn't like or that would offend them. And so I really, really want to do my best, and I want to get a great reaction out of the crowd. But it takes on a whole nother meaning to me personally whenever I put my own stuff out there, because it's just like way different. It's just like a whole nother, I'm nervous about it, and it's just like a whole nother ball game. Do you feel that way when you do an original song for the first time in front of a crowd?
Oh, yeah. Usually when I do it for the first time, I screw it up.
Right.
Because I get so nervous. Because when I do write my songs, I put my heart into them.
Yeah, and there's no way to cover it up when you forget the words to your own song. I mean...
Oh, no. And nobody else will know it but you. But, I mean, it's really hard to try to keep going.
Right, and in your mind, they know. I mean, even though you know full well going into it, they have no clue that you just missed a whole line of your song. They still, to you, they know. It's so obvious. And, that's one of the things that I'd talked to another person about a while back, too. We were talking about, the difference in shows. Like the shows I do, we got a little bit of a light show or, something like that. But everything's very personal. Very up close and personal, and so you get a lot more reaction out of your crowd in different ways, and you get to see a lot more of the crowd. And then as opposed to playing the larger shows and the larger venues where there's so much light that you can't really see the crowd that well, and there's so much noise and so much going on, you can't really tell what their main reaction is. But that's the same thing with doing your own songs versus doing a cover, because you do a cover and you're just kind of getting through it, and if you mess up, then you're just kind of like, oh, I messed up, and you laugh it off. But when you're doing something of your own, it's a lot harder to laugh it off. Even if they don't know, it's still a lot harder for me personally to laugh it off, because that's my baby. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I'd love to get a reaction like we do a cover called Purple Rain, which I'm sure you've heard of, and
yeah,
we get probably one of the best reactions that we get, believe it or not, is out of that song for whatever reason. I mean, to me, it's a great song, but I'm just saying it wouldn't have been one I would have thought would have spurned the reaction it did. And this is even before Prince passed away. And now that he's passed away, obviously it even means more. But I would love to get that type of reaction out of every song that we do, especially if it's an original song. And sometimes when you don't get that reaction that you're kind of expecting or hoping for, it's just kind of like, oh God, they hate my song. But it's not, it's not really that though. I don't think anyway. But now, you're a singer and a songwriter. Now, give us some names of just a couple of songs you've written, and give us like a backstory behind at least one of them. Just take your two favorite ones that you've written.
My two favorite songs I've ever written. The first one would have to be Six Bullets.
Right.
And I wrote that song years ago, and it's also been featured on W.B. Walker's Old Soul radio show.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of helped me get pretty far. Or further, I guess. That song, I don't even know when I wrote it, how I wrote it. It just came to me. And it's a murder-suicide song, which I know is kind of crazy. But
wow.
I love that song. And then the second one would have to be, a recent one would be 10 Years or More.
Right.
Because it's based off of an old relationship, but it's not 100% truthful to my situation right now. So
okay.
It hasn't even been 10 years, and I don't react like that. I just like to take myself back into the past where I have the most heart and the most, I don't know how to explain it, the most emotions, and then write about another time.
Well, now for the folks go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead. I have a hearing problem, so I'm trying to listen close.
Oh, you're fine. For the folks that are listening at home, we do not endorse or condone suicide or homicide. And this just goes to show you never know what you're going to hear on the Skynny. We have a lady who's written a song about murder-suicide. And trust me, they have, if they've listened to any of these podcasts, they've figured out by now they're liable to hear anything. But go ahead with your story on the song, though. When I heard Six Bullets, I'm sitting there thinking, Miranda Lambert and kerosene. So, I think that would be most guys' initial reactions. It would wind up being one of those badass songs. But go ahead. And Six Bullets. Now go back to where you was.
Oh, I already moved on to the second song, but
Oh well, I'm sorry. That's just that stuck in my mind when you said Six Bullets. I'm a guy. When a chick starts talking about guns or bullets or knives or anything sharp or pointy or that can hurt you in any way, we kind of perk up, and that's all we hear from that point on. It's a guy thing.
I understand.
I like how you just calmly said that. I understand.
Well, I used to shoot in competitions and stuff. I hunt and I fish and I do all that same stuff too. I'm the only girl and have two brothers. I'm the middle child.
Right.
So I grew up like them. Well, I've got a stepbrother and stepsister too, but they don't hunt and fish. So.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of guys out there that are, that dig chicks that'll get out and hunt and fish and do that kind of thing. I mean, I think now probably more than it's been in the past 20 years. I think you have more women that are actually inclined to do that and probably do it better than us men. And that's another thing I'll touch on real quick. I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but I've noticed it really, really bad around here. Generally, you pull up to a stoplight and you see this big jacked up 4-wheel drive truck. It just sounds good. It looks awesome, and it's just redneck as it can be. And you know, in my time, you expect to see this dude, you know, and you pull up beside him now, and it's a girl. And she's like in this monster big truck, and it's just a bad truck. And you look over to the opposite side of you, and you got this guy in this little teeny powder puff looking car. And yeah, I'm serious. It's just, and it sounded like a really souped up weed eater, you know. And it was like, wait a minute, you know. It's just, when did this happen? But anyhow, I found that kind of, because I'm seeing more and more of the girls hunting and fishing, and just like the blonde on the pond, she's big into fishing. And you're seeing so much more of that now, I guess, than I've ever seen in all my time. And it's just a change in everything. It's like all the roles are completely switching around now. So it's kind of cool seeing women that like to hunt and fish and that could take care of themselves if they had to, you know. But I commend you for that. But anyway, go back to the story on your second song. We'll pick up from there.
Okay. Well, my second song was called 10 Years or More. And like I said, it's about a past relationship. And it's not, like, the story is true, but not majority of it, about 10 years or more. It hasn't been 10 years, and I don't cry about them every night. I've moved on past that stuff, and my life is pretty good. But everything in that story is detailed about that past relationship.
Right.
And so it's probably the most personal song I probably have out there.
Well, now, have you got a good reaction from performing it? Because I would imagine there's a lot of women that could identify with that song. Probably a few men could identify with that song.
Oh man, yeah, I've got 40-something thousand views on Facebook from that song, and I've had people crying, and that I couldn't believe that my heartache could become theirs, and it blows my mind how they relate to that song.
Well, and you know, that's the true reward of writing songs and stuff like that, is when you get that kind of positive feedback that you've impacted somebody else, or that you've touched them in some way with your words and your own experience. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I've always said, if I did this music thing for money, I would starve to death between the shows a lot of times. Especially when I was very, very first starting out, and just playing for free or playing for my supper everywhere I went. But, you know, that's one of the things that keeps you going and keeps you wanting to do it, is when you get those rare reactions, even to a cover song. You know, I did 7 Spanish Angels one night, and we do it more like a Ray Charles style, I guess, kind of a bluesier style, but it's really a lot of vocal work on my part, and every time we do that song, we get such a great reaction out of it, and it's just like we were doing it probably the first night I ever done it during a show, and we hadn't really practiced it that much, and I just started singing it, and this lady that I knew very well had, she's kind of like a second mom to me in a way, and I didn't know anything really about, you know, her brother that she had lost, had passed away or whatever. And she happened to be at our show, and just at that particular moment, she happened to be focused on what we were doing. And I started singing that song, and I think by the time, if I remember the story correctly, by the time the song was over, she had everybody else at the table crying, you know. So, and just, yeah. But, you know, just hearing that, it done something to me. So now every time I sing that song, I got kind of a personal connection with that song now because of that. And there's several other songs that are that way for me now. But it's kind of neat to know that even if you took somebody else's song and you got that kind of reaction, it's a really cool thing. And I think that's what keeps me going as far as music goes, or I probably wouldn't have been in it this long.
Mama. Oh, sorry, my daughter came in.
Is she all right?
Oh, yeah. She's her first day of school is tomorrow, so we're trying to get prepared for that mentally.
Well, now is she going to be another? Is she going to be another singer? Or?
I hope so. She loves to sing with me. I've got videos of her on stage with me singing. She's being goofy right now.
Oh, shit. Ain't nothing wrong with that, hey. They don't stay little long enough. I've got a daughter who
I know she's 5 and I have a 2-year-old and she is whew.
I have a daughter who will be 16 at the end of this month. And I can't even believe it. And she's so super smart and she's so talented. I mean, she has a voice like, and I mean, I hadn't got to spend a whole lot of time with her for the better part of her life. And then in this past year, we've started getting more time together. And she happened to be here in the studio with me one evening when I had her with me, and she plugs into the karaoke outfit and she starts singing this newer song. I can't even remember the name of the song, but I just listened to her voice and I was like, wow, that's my kid, you know. And I went back and told my wife, I said, I would quit singing today and never sing another song if she would just sing from here on, you know. But I don't want to be that dad that just kind of shoves it on her either, you know. But she has a natural love for music, so hopefully she'll keep that. But now,
that's great.
Now, as far as you coming into music, now, was there a lot of singers in your family, a lot of music in your family, or is it something that you just fell in love with?
Oh, I have a lot of singers in my family. My dad and my grandparents. It's got my great. I'm gonna put it this way: my great granddad played banjo.
Right.
And his daughter, which is my his granddaughter, whatever. She plays bass, and my granddad played guitar, and they had a little band. My great uncle, and majority of the family had a little old classic country kind of bluegrass. And sit around and sing. So it just runs in the family, and that's where I picked it up. Oh no! Now my son's up. I'm so sorry. This might get a little interesting.
Hey, that's all right. Like I said, anything can happen here on the Skynny. That's one thing that we are always prepared for. And it's
So I'm okay. He just woke up. I'm okay, baby. Mama on the phone. Yeah.
Oh.
No, we're okay.
Sounds cute.
Thanks. He's something else.
I've got 2 grandsons that are just unbelievable. They're already a lot cooler than I ever was. They're just awesome kids, man. We spent some time with them today, and they just amaze me with some of the things they can come up with.
Oh yeah, he's.
Well, see, the oldest one's about there. I think he's going to start school. I think maybe this coming year, and he's or I guess preschool, and he's just kind of he's always been Nana's boy, and he's all about Nana. And then of course the youngest one, he's all about Papaw, and of course I think that's the coolest thing ever, having this kid that just thinks I'm a superhero. You know. But is everything okay there? I mean, we can go on with the podcast, or do you need to jump off? And
I kind of need to jump off. They're about to get really super loud. So it's time for dinner, and they have to take baths and get ready for school. But thank you for having me on here. I appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you. I wish we'd have been a little better prepared, but at the same time, I like it kind of on the fly. It's more organic, and you actually ends up being a better show in the long run. But we've run about 34 minutes, so that's a pretty good podcast anyway. But I'll definitely have you back on anytime you want to come back on. I'd like to talk some more about your music. I didn't mean to get off the subject with so many different things, but I'm just kind of tired, and when I get tired, my mind starts bouncing around, and it's just everything that comes to my mind, I got to spit it out. I get sidetracked really easily. But I do.
It's okay. I've been out at the horse pasture all day trying to fill up the water in their water in 100-degree weather, so I'm exhausted myself.
All right. Well, you have a good one and take care of the youngins. And I look forward to having you back on sometime soon. So just get back in touch with me and keep me posted on what you got going on. Let me know when you're ready to come back on, and we'll make it happen.
All right, sounds good, Tim. You have a great night.
I'm definitely going to try. Definitely going to try. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Brittany Avery here on the Skynny Live podcast. All right, now we're back here on the Skynny Live, and for those of you watching on Facebook, or those of you at this moment not watching on Facebook, which I'm very, very disappointed about. Actually, no, I didn't even advertise this. This is just something I'm wanting to try out to make sure I could do all this at the same time, make sure it all kind of flows together and works together. But that, again, that was Miss Brittany Avery, and she was, as you heard, she's tied up with her kids right now. But that was pretty cool, man. I wish, again, we'd have been a little more prepared, but it was still pretty fun. And the reason I'm doing the YouTube thing right now is because I just figured out that if I do the live YouTube thing while I'm doing the podcast, you can actually watch on YouTube and type questions to me, and I can answer your questions, or the guest can answer your questions right here live on YouTube as the podcast is actually happening. And then, of course, later on when I publish the podcast, it'll be on YouTube as well in the audio form, so you can go and listen to it that way. But I thought it might be a little more interesting, and I'm going to do some more research on that and try to do some more advertising and maybe get a few people on here. I don't think it really alerts people like it does on Facebook, so that may be one of the issues we're having here. But anyway, we will have Miss Brittany back on hopefully sometime really soon. Not sure when that'll be, but hopefully really soon, and we'll get more in depth into her music and maybe have a little bit of her music to showcase on the Skynny Live podcast. Here, live and on Spreaker Radio, of course, brought to you as always by the End Zone Pizza and Pub in Burnside, Kentucky. Want to give those guys a big shout out. Also, want to thank Spreaker Radio for allowing us the format to do this. Want to thank the good folks at YouTube for allowing us the format to do this live cast. And folks, I guess I'm going to get on out of here myself, and I think I may have another podcast to do. If not, I'll probably hit the bed. Been a long day. Been a good day, but a long day. So, till next time, just be you and be safe, folks. We'll catch you next time.